Hey guys, this is Tatsumi K, and this is going to be a tutorial video on how to do the makeup for the Pidgeot Gijika cosplay. This can also be used for if you're doing a Pidgey or a Pidgeotto cosplay, since all three evolution forms have the same markings on the eye. Let's go ahead and get started. The first thing I'm going to use is the Bare Minerals Prime Time Foundation Base, just to help set the foundation, and just go ahead and spread a good dime-sized amount evenly across your face. So next thing I'm going to do is put concealer underneath my eyes, around the base of my nose, and around the corners of my mouth. This will help get rid of any dark circles I have or any redness that I have around the base of my nose or the corners of my mouth. Instead of using a brush to help blend out the concealer, I like to use my pinky. This way I know that it actually blends out along my skin evenly, and there's no brush or bristle marks left using an actual concealer brush. And make sure that when you use a concealer, you actually have a shade that's of your right skin tone, otherwise it's going to look a little funny, it's going to look a little pale in those areas, so be careful with that. Now onto the face foundation. Go ahead and use whatever foundation you would like to use. The one I'm using is the Maybelline Dream Smooth Mousse. What I'm doing is I'm just blending it out with a brush, and what I plan to do later on is actually blend it out with a sponge. That way you don't actually see any bristles or brush marks on my skin. And just go ahead and, like I said before, just smooth it out evenly along your skin, and make sure you go down your jaw and neckline so it actually blends out with your skin on your neck. Otherwise it's going to seem like it's two different shades. Now onto the eyes. What I'm going to be using for the base is a copper metallic color. This will help at least make the eyes pop a little bit, instead of actually just using what I did before was a very earth colored brown shades, and it actually blended in too well with the eyeliner. So this one will help at least give the eyes some kind of pop so they can actually stand out a little bit more and not take away too much from the markings that will be on the cheeks later on. And it looks like it's a kind of orange color, but really, since the lighting in my room is so bad, it's actually a very nice copper earthy tone. So it's not going to pop out too much. And when you add some of the other colors later to it, it's not going to be too orangey and too bright. So just go ahead and put that on both the upper and a little bit on the lower eyelid. When you put on the lower eyelid, just go ahead and go about right around where the iris ends. You don't want to do the entire eye. The next shade I'm going to be using is from the e.l.f. Brightening Eye Color Palette. I'm going to be using two shades. One is, again, another copper kind of earth tone. It's going to be a little bit darker than the one that I used before. And I'm just going to go ahead and blend it out to about halfway across my eye, and I'm also going to do a little bit on the bottom of my eyelid as well, just to blend it out. And the last one I'm going to be using is a matte black, which is going to be mainly used in the corner of the eyes, just to give it a nice smoky touch. It's not going to be too much. And just go, and if you would like, you could do what I did and just kind of give it like a winged kind of wisp if you so desire. It's up to you. You don't have to actually do that if you want. If you just want to, you can go ahead and do a fuller smoky kind of eye, or you can do just like what I did, the little tidbit, and add like a wing to it. It's all up to you. It's all preference. The next thing you're going to do is put on highlighters. What I did was I put a white highlighter for the inner corners of my eye, and then I used a pastel yellow metallic color for the arches of my eyebrow. That way it can actually coordinate with the the base copper tone that I used, the first shade that I used, and it didn't stand out amazingly like if it were a white shade. what's going on right here is I'm talking about what I did for my eyeliner. Instead of actually showing you, I ended up going to the mirror because I didn't want to stab my eyes while using the camera on my computer. So what I did was I used a liquid eyeliner for the top of my lids, and I used a pencil liner for the bottom. What I did was I used the bottom liner to line both the inside and outer part of my lid. That way it'll give it a more kind of sophisticated, kind of mature look for Pidgeot. And the next thing we're going to do is define our eyebrows. So what I used was a brown colored pencil, eyebrow pencil, because I didn't want to use black because obviously that's going to be a little too dark for my eyebrows. You just want to define it. If you have blonde hair or your eyebrows are a lighter shade of blonde or brown, just go ahead and use a shade of brown that's not too dark. For me, I had to use a dark one for obvious reasons because my eyebrows are pretty dark, but if you have a lighter shade, go ahead and use one that's more of a kind of a chocolate kind of color, just to help them define the eyebrows a little bit. If you want to have thin eyebrows and you have thick eyebrows, what you could do is you could get foundation, just put foundation all over your eyebrows, and then get a glue stick and do that. Just put the glue stick on over your eyebrows and just keep on doing that until your eyebrows become a very, very light shade. And then go ahead and just pencil in whatever shape you want. This is actually something that I learned in a theater class, and for our characters we have very thin eyebrows, and they told us that little trick. So that might work for you, maybe it won't. You just have to try it out to see if it actually works. So yeah. I'm also putting on an eyebrow gel just to help keep the hairs of my eyebrows down, and they don't go in every which way direction from like wind or whatever. So now it's time for the fun part. What I'm doing here is I'm actually just lining down with liquid eyeliner where exactly I want to have the eye makeup. It's not going to be a complete stencil, it's just going to be one simple line going down my face. It's going to look a little weird and it's going to be a little off, but most of that's going to be covered up once you start coloring it in. Don't worry about trying to get rid of it, just try to get the shape of what you want first and then erase with liquid eye makeup remover and a Q-tip, but we'll get back to that later. So after you are done lining exactly where it is that you want everything, you are going to, or what I used was a gel eyeliner. It's a cream eyeliner from the High Intensity Pigments. It's called HIP, and why I use this is because actually the cream eyeliner lasts a lot longer than the liquid or pencil eyeliner, and it's easier to use for me because it's a lot more easier to smear and paint on. And what it's gonna look a little weird, it's gonna feel a little weird because when it dries out it looks kind of funny, but that's alright. And what you're just gonna do is you're just gonna color in on the back side further toward the end of your eye, and you are just going to, if you want, you can also use the eyeliner to help stencil this out, but what I did, I just helped slowly colored in the line, just making it thick to the thickness that I wanted. And don't go past where you colored in the line with the liquid eyeliner. Don't go past it, just keep going in the back and just keep on giving it that thickness that you want. And you're going to do the same thing toward the bottom. Again, if it looks off and it doesn't look nice and prim or neat, you can go ahead and use a liquid eye makeup remover and get a Q-tip and just go ahead and get rid of any imperfections that you don't like, or you can use a liquid eyeliner and add on to that if you feel like it's not thick enough. And when you're done with that, you're going to go ahead and get the liquid eyeliner again, and you're just going to add on to the top part of where the makeup or where the markings start. What I did was I added it on to the very ends of my eyes to give it like a kind of wing and an anime kind of eyelashes. And I did this, what I did for the inside corner of it was I kind of curved it into the rest of my eye. That way it actually doesn't look like it was just painted on there. It actually looks like it's part of the eye. And just go again, just take your time. This entire process, takes a while, and it takes a lot of getting used to in practice. And the last thing I did was add blush, mascara, and lipstick. You don't have to if you don't want to, or you can actually, if you want to, since I have a round nose, you can actually contour your nose a little bit to give it a nice, sharp, defined nose. You can also do this for your cheeks, since I don't really have sunken in cheekbones either. It's all preference again. And what I did for the lipstick, I used a kind of neutral kind of shade. It matched my lip color very well, but you could still tell that there was some form of lipstick on there. Again, it's all up to you whether you want to or not. You can make it a nice dark red, or you can make it just a gloss over. It's all up to you, really. I wanted to give her a kind of attitude, so I gave her some form of lipstick. And, well, that's really about it. I hope this helps anyone who would like to cosplay as a Pidgeot or Pidgey or Pidgeotto. A lot of the stuff in here you can actually change up to what you want. If you want, you can put skincare underneath before you put on the foundation. Don't forget to put on the powder. I forgot to do that. Again, a lot of this stuff it's preference. It's how you would like to do it. It's all up to you. And yeah. Again, I really hope this helps anyone who wants to cosplay as this, and I wish you good luck. If you have any questions, don't be afraid to message me or leave a comment. Again, I hope this helps, and till later.